Hey guys, welcome to my channel. So it's time to do another one of my comic reviews. And as you can see, the book that I've chosen today is The Last Asuran from Holy Cow Entertainment. Now, it's not a new book, but Holy Cow Entertainment has reached the conclusion of their first phase of comics publishing, as per the information on their Facebook group. So I thought of revisiting all the old books, all the old stories, and just thought of rereading them all before I get into Operation Decay now that the series is complete, so that I can enjoy it even more. So I thought as I reread these books, I'll keep putting out reviews on my YouTube channel and share my views and talk about them in general. So this is not the first book from Holy Cow Entertainment. However, it's the first story that's supposed to be read if I talk about the sequence or the reading order of stories or the books. So this is how it looks. It has the size of a standard graphic novel. You have the logo of Holy Cow at the top left, names of creators on the right, the title. It says volume 1 because there's a volume 2 as well. Here's the cover art. It's a brilliant cover art done by Gaurav Srivastav. And at the back, we've got a close-up of the protagonist of our story. His name is Desh. There's a synopsis, summary of the story. And then again, it says mature content, ISBN of the book, the price, and then again, the logo and the website address of Holy Cow. So let's open the book, talk about the story and the artwork and some other aspects. So as it's mentioned here, the events of the story take place before Aghori Origins. So Aghori Origins actually came before The Last Asuran. However, as I've mentioned earlier, the sequence is that you read The Last Asuran first and then dive into Aghori Origins. Alright, so here again, names of people concerned with Holy Cow Entertainment, and then a disclaimer here, and the story starts from the very first page. So the story is about the henchman of a presumed gangster called Monty. Now, the reason I'm saying presumed is, nowhere in the book it's mentioned that Monty is a gangster. There are very few sequences involving Monty, very few pages on which you actually get to see Monty and, get to see him conversate with people. But it's nowhere mentioned that he's a gangster or he's a don. But if you read the story, you get an idea that he probably is a don or a gangster. Now, this henchman, whose name is Desh, he's sent to a small town in UP called Banapur. Now, when I say Banapur, I'm not really sure if it's Banapur because, when the story starts, here it's mentioned Bhanapur, there's an H. And then again, here somebody's showing a map in which it says Banapur. However, there's another page on which there is a milestone here, and here the spelling is totally different. It says Bhnapur. So I'm not really sure if it's Bhanapur or Banapur, but whatever it is. So he's sent to this town to retrieve a weapon which has been delivered to a local politician called Raja Saab. Now Desh, who is the protagonist of our story, does not know what this weapon is. But yeah, his job is to go there, retrieve the weapon, come back and give it to Monty, who is, more like his father figure or uncle, you can say. So Desh actually travels to that town in UP, and once he reaches there, he figures out that things are not how they seemed or how he would have imagined them to be. The town has its own secrets, and the people out there are kind of mysterious in a certain way. And whatever happens post that, the sequence of events, whether he was able to retrieve the weapon that he was sent to retrieve, whether he's able to bring it back to his uncle Monty, this basically forms the crux of the story. The story is written by Ramvi, and I would say it's a fairly simple story. There's nothing too intriguing about the story. The artwork is done by Gaurav Srivastav, and I must say it's quite brilliant. I personally like Gaurav Srivastav's art, and if you look at these panels, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. The sequential art is really, really good. I mean, there are very few dialogues in these couple of pages, and also, when I show you the other pages, you'll realize what I'm talking about. The way he's been able to tell the story, every frame gives you an idea of what's happening. So if you look here, this guy is traveling on a bike and somebody tries to stop him, then shoots a gun. The bullet obviously pierces the tire, and then Desh falls. So these sequences basically don't require any speech bubbles. You don't really need to read any dialogues to understand what's happening in the story. That's sequential storytelling via art, and I would say it's brilliant. The colors are by Prasad Patnaik, and the colors are equally good. I mean, if you look at the panels, you'll understand when a particular sequence is happening in the night or when a sequence is happening during the daytime. The use of different shades and different tones add to the joy of reading the story. So here's a splash page. I'll hold the book so that you can get a clear view. And a lot of these panels have been dedicated to fights. Okay, this ad page was quite unnecessary. This could have been towards the end. But what I was saying is, yeah, if you look at these two pages, you'll realize what I'm talking about. A lot of these pages, or a significant part of this book, is dedicated to the fights between the various characters in the story, and they have been given ample amount of space in this book. You will come across a lot of pages which would have less speech bubbles or maybe no speech bubbles at all, no dialogues at all, but just the fight sequences, and those are a treat to the eyes. There's also an entry of a certain character. You see this guy who is most likely in an army uniform. He's only here for a couple of pages. You don't really get to know who he is or what his motive is, but maybe you'll get to know about him in the later stories. The dialogues are good. They are fun to read. And talking about the editing, I did find a few mistakes. So the editing could have been sharper. Here's another splash page. Desh in a very angry look. So yeah, going back to editing, there are mistakes, some grammatical mistakes here and there. I have already pointed out the Bhanpur, and Banapur issue. So that's there as well. Talking about the story, I did find some loose ends towards the end of the book. Desh talks about the weapon that he was sent to retrieve as though he actually knew what that weapon was. However, when you read the story, you get to know that even Monty was not sure what the weapon was. Also, he was sent to the town to retrieve the weapon, but he comes back without retrieving it. There's no sequence wherein Desh is shown to even think about retrieving that briefcase or the weapon and take it back. So I found certain things quite vague in the story. Also, while Desh fights certain creatures or certain people in the story, he first time realizes that he's got some superhuman abilities. Now, when he's told about those superhuman abilities by the character I was talking about earlier, the military man, Desh doesn't really sound too amazed or too shocked. He accepts it very normally that he's got those superhuman abilities, and that also was kind of weird to me. And there's this big mistake, which it's funny that when the first time I read it, I didn't realize, but I caught it now when I've read it for the second time, which is, in these two pages, Monty is trying to tell a character called Trichan how he found Desh. So basically, these two pages tell the origin of Desh. And the last narration box here says, the rest as they say. And then when you turn the page, you expect to, see the rest of the sentence here. Instead, it is here. So it says the rest as they say, and then here you've got is history. So basically, this page should have come after these two pages. So this is a problem with the order of pages. And here on this page, here's this character, Monty. On his face, it's written, "Let's take a ride." Now, this is a dialogue which is inside the speech bubble here, but I'm not really sure how, it's written here as well. And it's also on the character's face, so it doesn't really look good. So, story wise, I would say there are loopholes, but the art the coloring, and the lettering make it worth reading. So I guess we have reached the end of the story. Yeah. So the book contains overall 76 pages, out of which 70 pages are dedicated to the story. Towards the end, there are extras. There's an account of an interaction between a comic superfan, Mr. Devang, and few creators from Holy Cow Entertainment. So there's Ashwin Kalmane, there's Tadam Gyadu, and Vivek Goyal as well, who's the publisher of Holy Cow. Also, certain ad pages towards the end, and that's pretty much it. The book has staple binding and it retails for the price here is 499, but I'm sure you can find it at a discounted price on the Holy Cow website or Holy Cow online store. So that was my review of The Last Asuran Volume 1 Bite Marks. I'll try and do a review of the next book in this series, which is The Last Asuran Quest for the Moonblade. Stay tuned to my channel. The new video will be live very soon. Thanks for watching.